This is NBC Journal broadcasting from An-Najah National University in Nablus, Palestine. These are this week's picks. President Abbas says Chinese president's vision for peace may be a basis for regional solution. PLO condemns Israel's plans to expand settlements in occupied East Jerusalem. Worldwide protests await Britain's celebration of Balfour anniversary. A Palestinian teenager was shot and injured by Israeli naval forces off the coast of the northern Gaza Strip on Thursday evening. Witnesses said the 19-year-old, whose identity remained unknown, was sailing off the coast of Beit Lahia when Israeli naval forces opened fire on the teen's boat. Medical sources reported that the teen was injured in his leg. President Mahmoud Abbas and the Palestinian government mourned on Saturday dozens of Egyptian policemen killed on Friday during a raid at a base for terrorists in the Egyptian desert. Mr. Abbas expressed strong support for Egypt in its battle against blind extremist terrorism aimed at Egypt, its security, stability and its progress. The Palestinian government also mourned the dead policemen, saying they were martyred defending the security and stability of Egypt and its territory. President Mahmoud Abbas said late Monday evening that the four-point vision of Chinese President Xi Jinping for peace might serve as a good basis for solution of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Speaking to Chinese media, including Xinhua news agency from his office in Ramallah, Mr. Abbas called for designating plans for propagate the vision of the Chinese president for world peace, including in the tumultuous Middle East region. Mr. Abbas said he agreed with his Chinese counterpart to support the four-point peace vision so as to reach a solution for the Middle East conflict. The president also expressed his appreciation for what he labeled as the socialist creativity of China, noting that Chinese socialism has achieved remarkable success and outstanding achievements. The Palestine Liberation Organization strongly condemned on Monday Israeli plans to expand settlements in occupied East Jerusalem, saying such plans make a mockery of the international community. We strongly condemn Israel's plans to approve the construction of 176 units in the illegal settlement of North Zion, which is located inside the Palestinian neighborhood of Jabal al-Mukabbir in occupied East Jerusalem, said PLO Executive Committee member Hanan Ashrawi. Ireland condemned last week Israel's settlement expansion in the occupied Palestinian territories, describing them as provocative. Irish Minister for Foreign Affairs and Trade Simon Coveney said, "I condemn decisions this week by the Israeli authorities approving the construction of thousands of housing units in Israeli settlements in the West Bank." Ayman Mahani prepared the following report.
Militants carried out a devastating ambush on a convoy of Egyptian police and security officials deep inside the western desert late Friday, in the deadliest such attack in years, security officials said on Saturday. At least 59 Egyptian police officers and security officials were killed, security officials said. In a statement issued later, the Interior Ministry put the casualties much lower, 16 officers killed and 13 wounded, but did not immediately explain the discrepancy. Its statements also claimed that the police had killed or wounded about 15 militants. The exact circumstances of the ambush were still emerging Saturday evening as Egyptian officials scrambled to secure the remote area in Giza province. The last attack on such a scale occurred in 2015 when militants killed at least 50 police and army personnel in a series of coordinated attacks in Sinai. After the ambush, the militants went through the disabled vehicles, seizing weapons and executing survivors, said an Egyptian official who insisted on speaking anonymously in order to provide sensitive information. He provided audio recordings of conversation between two police officers who had radioed their headquarters for help as they fled for safety. "The guys are behind us, chasing us in their cars," one officer can be heard saying. He described being lost in the desert in the only vehicle that escaped the fusillade of gunfire. He was traveling with two others, one of whom was wounded. Ayman Maani, NBC.
France also condemned last week the recent Israeli decision to allow the construction of 3,000 housing units in illegal settlements in the occupied West Bank, including for the first time since 2002 in the heart of Hebron, saying they increase tension in the area and undermine peace prospects. A statement by the spokesperson of the French Foreign Ministry said the uninterrupted continuation of the settlement policy confirmed by these new projects only serves to fuel tensions on the ground and undermines the prospects for achieving a just and lasting peace based on the two-state solution. United States Special Representative for International Negotiations Jason Greenblatt has traveled to Egypt to meet with senior officials about the status of Palestinian reconciliation, a senior White House official announced on Thursday. The United States is closely monitoring the reconciliation efforts and is in frequent contact with Egypt, the Palestinian Authority and Israel. Greenblatt will also work with the government of Egypt on the basic principles that outlined in his earlier statement today, so he can help facilitate an enduring peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians, said the White House official. As Britain prepares to celebrate the centennial of the infamous Balfour Declaration, which Palestinians say was the cause of the Nakba or catastrophe, protests are being planned in the Palestinian territory and around the world, according to officials. Speaking at a press conference in Ramallah on this occasion, Palestinian officials said the main protest rally is going to be held in Ramallah city centre on November the 2nd, marking the date when former British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour has promised Jews a homeland in Palestine in 1917. Protests are also going to be held in Jerusalem and around the world, but a major rally is going to be held in London on November the 4th with the participation of British lawmakers and officials. On the ground, staff from the Israeli municipality of West Jerusalem on Tuesday served demolition notifications to a number of houses in the East Jerusalem neighborhood of Silwan. Staff from the Israeli municipality, accompanied by police, distributed a new batch of demolition notices in Silwan under the pretext of being built without a permit. Furthermore, staff from the Israeli water company, Gihon, cut off the water supply from a number of homes in Silwan under the pretext of accumulated debts. The staff, protected by police, took away the water meters. The Israeli occupation's military government issued orders on Monday expropriating Palestinian land near the illegal settlement of Halamish, northwest of Ramallah, a local activist said on Monday. Mohammed Tamimi from the Anti-Settlements Committee told Wafa news agency that farmers from the village of Nabi Saleh were surprised to find out when they went to the lands to harvest olives that the army would not let them enter it and ordered them to go back. He said the soldiers passed on notices to the farmers informing them that their land will be confiscated for security reasons, the excuse Israel always uses to justify all its illegal acts. Official sources said Israeli forces on Sunday detained 6 Palestinians, including 4 minors in the West Bank districts of Qalqilia, Bethlehem and Nablus. 2 Palestinian minors aged 14 and 15 were detained in the Qalqilia area, whereas 2 other teenagers aged 16 and 17 were detained in the Bethlehem's town of Taqwa. 2 more Palestinians were detained by the Israeli army in the Nablus area. Israeli settlers on Sunday stole the harvest of hundreds of olive trees belonging to Palestinians in the Nablus and Ramallah areas, said a local activist. Settlers stole the olive harvest in the village of El-Mughayr near the city of Ramallah and the village of Burin near the city of Nablus in the occupied West Bank. Ghassan Douglas, who monitors settlements activities in the northern West Bank, told Wafa news agency that settlers from the illegal Israeli settlement of Adeh had stole the harvest of 200 olive trees in Al-Mughayr village. According to a local official, Israeli settlers assaulted on Friday a Palestinian farmer from the town of Al-Khadr to the south of the city of Bethlehem in the occupied West Bank while harvesting his olive crop, causing him head and chest injuries. Ahmed Salah from the committee resisting the apartheid wall and settlements in Al-Khadr told Wafa news agency that settlers from the illegal settlement of Sidi Pose attacked 58-year-old Ibrahim Muhammad Sbeh while he was picking olives in his land located near the settlement. Unknown groups believed to be extremist armed militants abducted on Monday 3 Palestinian workers from a tunnel along the border between Egypt and the Palestinian town of Rafah in the south of the Gaza Strip and took them into the Sinai desert, according to Wafa news agency. He said, based on witnesses, that armed men abducted the workers and took them to Sinai, where armed Islamist militants have set up bases. The Egyptian army conducts regular raids at these bases to root out the militants. The 3 men came from Shaja'iyya neighborhood east of Gaza City.
From 1967 till now, the Israeli settlements have never stopped expanding, and yet Israel recently authorized the construction of thousands of houses in the Israeli settlements in the West Bank. I condemn decisions this week by the Israeli authorities approving the construction of thousands of housing units in Israeli settlements in the West Bank, said the Irish Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Simon Coveney. Israel is practicing racist activities against the Palestinians, led and directed by the right-wing occupation government, which has been forcibly displacing the Palestinians from their villages in an attempt to remove the Palestinian city's Arabic identity. It constantly targets the city's residents through demolitions and displacement. Activities as well as building settlements in favor of the Jewish settlers. The Irish minister said that such unliteral and provocative actions undermine the credibility of the Israeli authorities' commitment to a peaceful, negotiated solution, something which is essential for Israel to secure its future and for Palestinians to enjoy their full political rights. Concluding his statements, the Irish minister said, "I call on Israel to reverse these decisions, which represent a serious threat to the two-state solution to which Ireland, the EU and the international community are fully committed." Ayman Maani, NBC.
And now we go to Amjad Al-Isa with his news from An-Najah University.
Thank you, Basil. After the big success of the first Winter School of High Energy Physics in Palestine, WSIP the first, the Physics Department at An-Najah National University held a workshop to announce the launching of the second Winter School of High Energy Physics in Palestine. The workshop took place at the Faculty of Science Auditorium in the new campus and was moderated by Dr. Ahmed Basalat, Chair of WSIP and staff member at Physics Department at An-Najah. Dr. Basalat announced that the school will be launched on Sunday, November the 12th, over a week. The inauguration ceremony will take place at the Prince Turki bin Abdulaziz Theatre in the new campus and will be attended by a large number of international scientists and researchers in physics. He mentioned that physics students from all Palestinian universities were invited to attend the event, including students from Gaza. An-Najah National University has recently been ranked 45 in the Arab world according to QS World University Rankings, which makes it among the top 5 universities in the Arab world for the year 2018. Preceding 16 positions of the 16 Arab universities in 1 year, the university was also ranked second in Palestine after being the third place according to 17 ranking. On this occasion, Professor Maher Nachi, acting president of An-Najah, commended the university progress and expressed his pride in its staff and students. An-Najah National University has recently signed a memorandum of understanding with the University of Piraeus in Athens, Greece. The parties were Dr. Ra'ed Abdulrahim, Director of Arabic for Non-Native Speakers Institute at An-Najah, Dr. Adnan Shhade from the Technological Educational Institute of Athens, and Ms. Suhad Nairat from the University of Athens. The parties agreed to hold the standardized test of Arabic proficiency in speakers of other languages and create a new academic and research collaboration that includes the implementations of new research projects, holding scientific conferences, staff exchange, and establishing future joint academic programs. Professor Jalal Al-Dabbiq, Director of Earth Sciences and Seismic Engineering Center at An-Najah and the Vice President of the National Authority for Disaster Risk Mitigation in Palestine, has recently participated in a workshop on disaster risk reduction to set a universal strategy that improves capabilities and reduces disaster risk according to Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction 2015-2030. The workshop discussed the 7 goals and 4 working priorities for Sendai Framework and their relation to sustainable development aspirations to develop strategies and limit disaster risk in the Arab region. On Sunday, An-Najah received a delegation from Erasmus Plus, represented by Dr. Nidal Jayousi, the representative of Tempest program in the European Union, and Ms. Rana Qamariye, NEO program officer in Palestine, to see the progress made on the improving governance practices in Palestine higher education institutions, UniGov. At the beginning of the meeting, Dr. Al-Amle, Vice President for Academic Affairs, welcomed the delegation and stressed the importance of the cooperation projects between the Palestinian universities that offer benefits of the Palestinian community. Dr. Najjar, Director of the Project Management and Consulting Unit, talked about the importance of the cooperation with the EU as it develops the staff competency and upgrades the university status. And back to you, Basil.
Thank you, Amjad. And now we go to Lena and her news from around the world.
Thank you, Basil. Researchers from 300 institutions around the world combined forces to discover 72 previously unknown gene mutations that lead to the development of breast cancer. 2 studies describing their work published Monday in the journals Nature and Nature Genetics. The teams found that 65 of the newly identified genetic variants are common among women with breast cancer. The remaining 7 mutations predispose women to developing a type of breast cancer known as estrogen receptor negative breast cancer, which does not respond to hormonal therapies, such as the drug tamoxifen. The new discoveries add to previous research, bringing the total number of known variants associated with breast cancer to nearly 180. China is in the midst of an all-out blitz on polluters' floating emissions standards, closing tens of thousands of factories in a massive effort to address the nation's catastrophic pollution problems. Estimates of the crackdown suggest as much as 40% of China's factories have been temporarily closed by safety inspectors, with officials from more than 80,000 factories charged with criminal offenses for breaching emissions limits over the past year. The months-long campaign coincided with China announcing this week at its Communist Party Congress its plan to cut the concentration of hazardous fine particulate matter called PM2.5 from 47 micrograms per cubic meter in 2016 to 35 micrograms by 2035. The original version of Stephen Hawking's PhD thesis has been made freely available online for the first time. The 119-page document was submitted by Hawking, then a 24-year-old graduate student at Trinity Hall College, part of the University of Cambridge. Its title is Properties of an Expanding Universe, and in the abstract, Hawking promises to examine some implications and consequences of the expansion of the universe. By page 3, he is picking holes in Einstein. In an effort to attract more customers, McDonald's is offering higher quality fast food delivery options and more value promotions. We are building a better McDonald's and more customers are noticing, CEO Steve Easterbrook said, according to the Associated Press. The company looks to increase its customer through a partnership with Uber Eats, curbside pickup, and the continuation of a competitive value program focused on $1, $2, and $3 price points, plus deals throughout the year. As noted elsewhere on TV by The Numbers, the Season 8 premiere of The Walking Dead pulled its lowest premiere rating since Season 2 in adults 18 to 49. It was also down about 40% from last season's near record premiere, 5.0 rating versus 8.4. Still, the show was plenty big enough to lead the cable ratings for the week of October 16th to 22nd by a pretty wide margin. The Walking Dead finished 72% ahead of second place. Monday Night Football, season low 2.9 in adults 18 to 49, and about 1.5 million viewers ahead of Game 7 of the American League Championship Series in total audience. And back to you, Basil.
Thank you, Lena, and thank you, dear viewers, for watching NBC Journal. Good night.